Next, the last film on the tier list. Jesus Christ, we've been on this for a minute.
The most recent Spider-Man movie.
Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. How we feeling?
It's really good.
How good?
So I like Across the Spider-Verse a lot. But you can't really follow up perfection, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
It's okay, so I know there are people out there that like Across the Spider-Verse more. I personally chalk that up to recency bias. But even from the moment I first watched Across the Spider-Verse, I didn't have that feeling of, oh, it's better than the last movie in every way. No. I think the animation is a lot more polished, is a little better. But I think story-wise, so this was originally going to be called Across the Spider-Verse Part 1.
Mm-hmm.
And that's important. It's half of a story. It's part 1 of a bigger story.
And the story that's presented here is magnanimous. It's great. And
it's fantastic.
I'm actually surprised by how good it was. Because I had the same fears as you. It can't be as good as the first one. No way.
Yeah. Yeah. But what they do tell, it's a great deconstruction of the Spider-Man character. And it presents Miles with the impossible choice that every superhero has to make at some point. It's the trolley problem.
Yes.
Would you save one person close to you, or would you save the rest of the multiverse?
Which is
That's
massive.
an impossible fucking question.
One thing I do want to say is that this film's so intelligent. For example, the addition of Miguel Vera. People like to see Miguel Vera as a villain. Hell, even as an anti-hero.
Miguel O'Hara.
And Miguel O'Hara. And I don't see either of those being true. I think Miguel Vera is a hero.
I think he's a hero.
He's the good guy. And the thing is that in Miles' eyes, he's trying to stop him from saving his father. But that's not what Miguel is doing. What Miguel is doing is trying to stop Miles from dooming everyone else. That's the narrative. It's an opposing viewpoint. You understand where Miles is coming from, and you even want him to succeed, especially with how badass he is. Yeah, I'm gonna go my own way. You know, that kind of thing. Like, it's badass, and you even want him to succeed. But you know that Miguel, he's probably right. And unless Miles pulls something out of his ass in the sequel, he's not going to save his dad, because you and I both know that that's not what Spider-Man would do. So, I think this film, for me, is damn good, and I loved how intelligent it is. I love the addition of Miguel's character. I think the comedy here was pretty good. Although, to be honest, the animation can be a bit... What's the word?
It's a lot.
It's a lot to ingest and can be real choppy at times. I feel like a great way to put it is when you add in like the spider, the rock spider or whatever the hell he's called.
Oh, Spider-Punk.
I understand that he's not really supposed to fit the design of anything around him, but sometimes it's so fucking glaring that you can't see what's in the rest of the scene. Like, you can tell that some of this stuff was rushed, you know? I will add that. That being said, there's still a lot of love being put here. For example, Gwen Stacy's Spider-Gwen's story. Her story is pretty good with her and her father. I love the animation, the colors that they use to reflect her mood. You know, once again, the animation here is peak. It's great. I can just tell there's some issues that you did not have in the movie Into the Spider-Verse. Jesus Christ. So, once again, I still think this film's awesome. I still think the film story is very intelligent. The addition of Miguel is something that I think was extremely well put together. I mean, not just a villain, that Hole's character, whatever the hell his name is, but actually giving you somebody...
Spot?
Yeah, Spot. But not just the addition of him, but actually giving you a person that can be seen as a villain from Miles' eyes and from the simpletons amongst us, but is actually a hero with an opposing viewpoint, and you gotta love it. You gotta love the fan service here too. Plenty of that.
Yeah, for sure. I saw Across the Spider-Verse in theaters 3 times, and I don't think I've seen it since. But it's weird because I I think Across the Spider-Verse is great, but I don't have the same love for it that I have for other Spider-Man movies.
And I think the main...
And it's nothing
Go ahead.
against the movie. It's just, I don't know. It's just something about it.
I know it. I know what it is.
What is it?
It's the ending. I love the ending.
That's a big part of it.
The ending, let me tell you something. It's definitely a big contributing factor. The thing is, I love the ending. Some people hated it. I think the ending has balls. Okay? The ending is doing exactly what the comic books do. Man, I hate cliffhangers. Yeah, you do. God damn it. I know you do because you loved it and we kept you hanging on by a thread. Oh, it's going to do it. Oh, it's going to get good. Nope, fuck you. You know? Now, if this was a cheap franchise that I didn't care about too much, I would see that as cheap way to get, to get people interested. But that's not what this movie is. This movie's so comic book accurate, it's to a fault. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I love the cliffhanger ending. I think it's great. But that being said, I can't give Across the Spider-Verse the props that I give Into the Spider-Verse because the story's not finished.
Yeah.
It's just not finished. It's great. It's leading into perfection. And if they pull it off in the third film, shit. You know what I mean? But as its own film, not having the third one in mind, I can't give it the same props as Into the Spider-Verse because it hasn't tied up the stories yet. They're still going. Mm-hmm. So it feels unfinished. Even though it's a film and it's been finished, it feels unfinished because of the cutoff ending. It requires the third film. Yeah.
And I think I'm going to compare cliffhanger endings real quick.
Go ahead.
Talking about Spider-Man Far From Home, I think what made that cliffhanger ending great is that it's a post-credits scene. If you want the movie to have a nice, happy ending and wrap up in a bow tie,
it's end.
You don't have to watch the end credits scene because the cliffhanger is after the credits.
Right. Well,
the movie still has an ending.
Right. The movie has already ended, and all the characters have everything's been tied up nicely in a bow.
Exactly.
And then at the end, they throw a teaser. It's like, oh, wait a minute, something new, not a continuation, something new.
Yeah. And so I think I just can't judge Across the Spider-Verse yet until we watch Beyond the Spider-Verse.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's my problem with the movie. That's why I feel like I don't have the love for it because it's not finished.
It's shaping up to be S tier, better than the Sam Raimi. It really is shaping up to be that level. But right now, as is, without the second film, which is a necessity, I'd say. Do you think it's better than No Way Home right now, or do you think it's just S tier?
I think it's just S tier
because it doesn't have an ending.
Yeah,
that's literally the only reason why.
And the thing is, a big problem with the cliffhanger ending is that if Beyond the Spider-Verse is bad, it will bring down Across the Spider-Verse with it.
Exactly, it could bring it down to fucking B tier if it's bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is wild to think because you think, oh, but you need to judge the film on its own merits. Not when it's literally a cliffhanger ending. It's literally nope, shut the fuck up, no more story. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Now, if it's good, balls, put it up here. You know what I'm saying? But if it's not, it's got to be there. So if it's not, it's got to be there. So I think a fair rating right now with no part 2 is there because it does not have anywhere near as many problems or lack of success than the other films below it. But it is not a complete story, so it will not hit these. It will not beat these films.
Yeah.
So I think
it's like if you played The Last of Us and the game ended when Joel fell on that rebar.
Yeah. Oh, that's so right. You got it.
Yeah.
That's the cliffhanger ending. It's not like a cliffhanger ending at the end where it's like, tell me everything. Yeah, like, and then he lied to her at the end. Like, that's an ending.
Yeah.
That's an ending to the story.
That's an ending.
People think it's a cliffhanger and like, oh, there's so much left unsaid. No, it's the ending. It's presented as a cliffhanger, cutting it off, but it's the ending of the story.
I never felt that The Last of Us needed a sequel.
I agree.
I'm like, that's the ending.
I personally like the sequel, but it never needed it. I agree with that.
It
never needed it. Absolutely not.
So yeah, that's what the cliffhanger is. Is when you're playing as Joel in the college, and you get knocked off the second floor, you fall into the rebar, you get stabbed through the stomach, and all of a sudden the game fucking ends.
Things are ramping up. He's about to fight
Yeah.
an evil Miles Morales. Like all of this is ramping
Yeah.
up, and you're thinking, "Damn, the next film is gonna. This is gonna be peak. The villainy. Oh, this fight's gonna be all." Nope. Stop.
Mm-hmm.
Take a 2-year, 3-year break. Come back. What?
Yep.
So I can't say it's better than these other films because it's just not finished. So that's what.
And the thing is, Beyond the Spider-Verse is delayed indefinitely, which pisses me off.
Oh yeah, tell me about what happened to that.
So Across the Spider-Verse is the first half of the story, and then so the movie came out, and then they were asking, I think it was Haley Steinfeld about Beyond the Spider-Verse, how far are they in production or anything? She's like, I haven't recorded any of my lines yet.
Damn, that's behind. Fuck.
And then, a lot of behind the scenes stuff came out about how there was a lot of crunch for the animators that worked on Across the Spider-Verse,
No
and
shit.
they were forced to get it out in a certain amount of time. And so I don't know if it was one of the animators or one of the producers of Across the Spider-Verse said that we haven't even started work on the third movie besides a couple of animation tests.
Jesus Christ.
And Sony yet had the release date for Beyond the Spider-Verse as a year after Across.
Yeah, that don't make sense.
Yeah, they're not going to get that shit done in a year. With how good the animation is in both Spider-Verse
It's not gonna
movies, they're not
happen.
getting that shit done in a year.
If this
Impossible.
was Megamind 2, sure, but it's not. So
Yeah.
it is what it is.
So yeah, it was delayed indefinitely. So no release date, not even like a window.
That's painful, dude. That's really painful.
Yeah. So it could be like 5 years until we get Beyond the Spider-Verse.
Hey, as long as it's
Realistically.
quality, I can wait. Just like I've been waiting for GTA 6. I just want to
Yeah.
make sure the movie's good. I don't want it to be rushed to meet a deadline like these two were.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's fair. If they want to wait,
I'll take
they can
another
wait.
S tier over a C or D tier.
Damn straight. So if they want to wait, they can wait.
Mm-hmm.